Welcome to our deep dive, everyone. Today we'll be exploring Asian music.
Oh, a fascinating world.
Right. And we've got some amazing sources,
Yeah.
like excerpts from this pasted text thing.
Interesting.
It's got so much good stuff in there.
I bet.
We'll try to give you a taste of why Asian music is so unique.
So, like instruments?
Exactly. Instrument scales, maybe even a little history and philosophy.
Wow, that's a lot to cover.
I know, right? It's like a sampler platter.
Not the whole buffet.
Uh-huh. Exactly.
Well, one thing I've always found interesting
Yeah,
is how Asian music just grabs Western listeners.
it really does.
Like there's this pull,
And you feel like you recognize it.
but it's also totally new.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that might be because of the pentatonic scale.
Oh, that's a big one.
Yeah, it's everywhere in China, Japan, Korea.
It really is. It uses just 5 notes.
Right, not like our 7-note scale.
Exactly.
So that's maybe why it sounds so different, but also familiar somehow.
Yeah, I think so. And it's not just a musical choice.
It's not.
No, it's like woven into their culture.
Huh. That's interesting.
The pentatonic scale. It's simple, but powerful.
How so?
Well, it creates this feeling of mystery, and peace.
Yeah, I can see that.
And you actually build it.
Build it.
Yeah, by leaving out the 4th and 7th notes of the major scale.
Oh, that's interesting. And I was reading in the source
Hmm.
that some Western music uses it too,
Oh, absolutely.
like rock and blues.
Yeah, think about some of those big anthems,
Mm-hmm.
those guitar riffs, like pentatonic.
So maybe that's why the genres are so popular.
Could be. Adds that emotional depth.
It's amazing how much Asian music connects with Western traditions.
It is.
But let's talk about a specific instrument now, okay?
Sure.
The Guqin. It's like a time machine.
A time machine.
Well, it's a Chinese zither with over 3,000 years of history.
3,000 years.
It's like super revered in Chinese culture.
I can see why.
There are even legends about it,
What kind of legends?
like that it was made to copy the sounds of the universe.
That's amazing.
I know, right?
That's
Imagine playing it and connecting to the cosmos.
Uh-huh. Now, that might be a bit far-fetched.
Yeah, maybe.
But it definitely has a spiritual side to it.
Does it?
Yes, the gusan. It has 7 strings.
And you pluck them.
Yeah. And the music is all about subtlety.
Really?
Yes, like these delicate harmonics,
Tell me more about them.
So you lightly touch the string at a certain point,
Huh.
and then there are glissandos too,
Glissandos.
sliding between the notes.
Oh, creating that flowing sound.
Exactly. It's not just the notes themselves.
Oh.
It's how you play them.
The technique, the pauses.
All of that. And get this,
Oh.
even Confucius played the gusan.
No way.
Yep.
So Confucius, playing this ancient instrument, pondering life.
What a picture.
Let's go to Japan now and talk about another spiritual instrument, the shakuhachi.
The shakuhachi, yes. The shakuhachi, yes.
I love that sound. It's not just the instruments, though.
Right.
The source talks about some interesting ideas. Like this thing called ma in Japanese music.
Oh, ma. That's a tricky one.
Yeah, it sounds more like a word than a musical idea.
Uh-huh. I know, right? People translate it as space or silence.
Silence.
Yeah, but it's not just the absence of sound.
Okay, I'm confused. How can silence be musical?
Well, think of it like this. Ma is using those pauses on purpose.
So, like, being quiet at certain moments.
Yeah, it's not just about what you play.
It's about when you don't play.
Exactly. It makes you anticipate the next sound.
And gives you time to think about what you've heard?
Yes. It's all about balance.
Balance.
In the music, but also how you experience it.
Like negative space in a painting.
Right. You see it in other parts of Japanese culture, too.
Like where?
The tea ceremony, for example.
With all those precise movements and pauses.
Exactly. It's appreciating the understated.
Finding meaning in the quiet moments. I like that.
It's a powerful concept.
Shifting gears a bit, the source also talks about Asian music and nature.
Oh, yeah. That's a deep connection.
I know music can make you think of nature.
Like listening to Debussy and picturing the ocean.
Sure.
But is there something more to it here?
Definitely. In many Asian cultures, music and nature are, like, inseparable.
More than just trying to sound like birds or water.
Way more. Like in Chinese music, you have this concept of yin and yang,
Yin and yang.
the opposite forces that make up the universe.
Right, I've heard of those, but how do they fit into music?
It's all about balance, again.
Balance.
Yeah, like different instruments will have yin or yang qualities. Can you give an example?
Sure. The Guqin, we talked about it earlier.
That deep, mysterious sound.
Exactly. That's considered a yin instrument.
So it's like channeling the stillness of nature.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
like the instrument itself embodies those qualities.
That's cool. What about a yang instrument then?
Hmm. Let's see. The dizzy is a good example.
Dizzy?
It's a Chinese flute, very bright and energetic.
Oh, so it's expressing the active side of nature.
Yeah, the movement and vitality.
So if you combine yin and yang
You
instruments,
get this musical conversation.
showing the harmony of the natural world.
Exactly. And it's not just instruments. The scales and modes they use.
Oh, right, like the different ways of organizing notes,
Those are based on yin and yang, too.
creating that sense of flow and balance.
Yes. We've talked a lot about instruments, though.
True.
What about the voice?
Oh, good point. Does vocal music have the same importance in Asia?
Absolutely.
Hate it.
It's huge, full of tradition and storytelling.
Like what?
Well, take Japanese no theater, for example.
Yeah.
It's this really powerful art form.
Tell me more.
It combines chanting, singing, these stylized movements.
It tells stories.
Yes, and explore these really deep themes.
I've heard of it, but I don't really know anything about it.
The chanting is what's unique. It's very stylized,
Stylized how?
like almost otherworldly.
Yeah.
Specific pitches, rhythms.
To convey different emotions.
Exactly. It takes you to another place.
So not like a pop song.
Not at all. You had to really listen to understand it.
It sounds intense. And no Thumao is just one example, I guess.
Right. All across Asia, you have these vocal traditions.
Each one unique.
From Mongolian throat singing to Indonesian gamelan singing.
It's incredible. From the shakuhachi to no theater.
It's a whole world of sound,
So much history, philosophy, artistry.
and we've only just begun to explore it.
So we've journeyed through ancient traditions, incredible instruments.
And even touched on some deep philosophy.
I know, right? But as amazing as all that is,
Mhm.
it's also exciting to see how Asian music is evolving today.
Oh, absolutely. It's thriving in the modern world.
Yeah. We've talked about the old stuff, but what about now? What's happening?
Well, one of the most exciting things is fusion.
Fusion.
Yeah, like blending traditional Asian music with modern genres.
So mixing the old with the new?
Exactly. Creating something totally fresh.
Like what? Give me an example.
Okay, imagine the sounds of the Guqin Shakuhachi,
Those ancient instruments we were talking about?
right? Mixed with electronic music or hip-hop, even rock.
Wow, that's wild. Blending those sounds together.
It's pushing boundaries, you know, exploring new sonic possibilities.
Are there any artists doing that you'd recommend?
Oh, tons. There's this whole movement called Asian Underground.
Asian Underground?
Yeah, artists like Nitin Sawhney. He mixes Indian classical with jazz and electronica.
Interesting.
Or the band Yat Ka. They do Tuvan throat singing with rock and
That's
funk.
throat singing and punk. That's a combo I'd never expect.
It's pretty amazing. And of course, there's Yo-Yo Ma.
Yo-Yo Ma, the cello superstar.
He's a legend, bridging East and West with his music.
It's incredible how his music just speaks to everyone.
It really does. But it's not just about fusion either.
Oh.
There's a lot of creativity within traditional Asian music itself.
So like new compositions for old instruments,
Exactly. Composers are exploring the possibilities of the Guqin Shakuhachi.
bringing those ancient sounds into the 21st century.
Yes, it's giving them a new voice, a new story to tell.
That's beautiful. And what about the global impact of Asian music?
Oh, it's huge. Think about K-pop.
K-pop, yeah, that's taken the world by storm.
It's catchy. Those performances are amazing.
I have to admit, I've gotten hooked on a few K-pop songs myself.
It's hard to resist. And J-pop is big too, Japanese pop music.
Or to see pop, Chinese pop music.
It's everywhere. You hear Asian influences in film scores, video games, even fashion.
So the sounds of Asia are really becoming part of global culture.
It's true. Music has this power to connect us all across borders.
It's amazing. So as we wrap up this deep dive into Asian music,
Yeah.
what do you hope people take away from it?
Well, I think the biggest thing is just how diverse and deep this musical world is.
We only scratched the surface.
But we saw how it connects with history, philosophy, spirituality, nature, even technology.
It's constantly evolving, captivating people all over the world.
Exactly.
Well said. It's been an incredible journey exploring this music.
It has.
And I hope it's inspired you to keep exploring it on your own.
There's so much more to discover.
From those ancient sounds to modern beats.
A world of sonic wonders.
Keep your ears open. Stay curious.
And let the magic of music transport you.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.